Hey there, are you tired of the stubborn belly fat that will not budge even though you're eating healthy? Menopause changes everything, and your food choices can make or break your results. If you're looking for a personalized weight loss plan to work with your hormones, schedule your free call with me now. Click on the link in the show notes so we can get you on the right track. If we've not met yet, my name is Nicole Dalton. I have been a physician assistant now for 25 years and a menopause weight loss coach. I help women 35 and over lose weight for the last time so they can create the healthiest version of themselves in this second half of life. Today, we're diving into the best and worst foods that women in perimenopause and menopause can eat to lose belly fat. I'll also share those certain food triggers that may cause weight gain after the age of 40. We're going to cover the science, practical tips, and real life strategies so you can finally see progress. Why does menopause change everything here? Okay, so just to recap, during perimenopause and menopause, our estrogen is tanking and cortisol is rising. And this is what is causing our belly fat and for us to store all of this visceral fat here in our belly. This then causes a slower metabolism because then what happens is our body composition actually is changing. We are losing muscle mass, up to 30% of our muscle mass by the time menopause rolls around. And then we continue losing muscle mass with age. So it's not just simply age that causes a slower metabolism, it's truly because of our body composition is changing. And so every calorie counts even more during this phase in life because not only are we struggling with this belly fat, but we're losing muscle. So we have to preserve every ounce of muscle we can. So every bite counts. Insulin sensitivity, this is as the estrogen is dropping, cortisol rises, insulin rises, and this is causing many of us to become insulin resistant during this phase in our life. And this allows for extra belly fat. And if you feel like your body's just working against you, it's not your imagination. You are actually noticing and living the changes that your body is going through. Some of us, it feels like it happens overnight, like me, and a lot of us notice this gradual change over time. So let's dig in. What are some of the best foods to lose belly fat? Okay, first, most important, high quality protein. For example, if you eat meat, salmon, chicken, these are some of the healthiest, best sources of protein. Greek yogurt is one of my favorite. You can find 20 grams in different variety of Greek proteins in one serving of Greek yogurt. But the reason why you need to focus on healthy proteins is because this helps to stabilize your glucose levels. And this also helps to prevent insulin spikes and inflammation and weight gain. And then it also helps to preserve muscle mass. The protein has the building blocks for our muscle mass called amino acids. So other plant-based protein sources, tofu, tempeh, edamame, those are some of my favorite options for plant-based protein. Another source of foods that you cannot forget about are healthy fats. I love talking about healthy fats because I find most of us women grew up in the 80s when we were told to eat low-fat everything. Do you remember Snackwells? But healthy fats are super important, and I find most perimenopausal and menopausal women are not eating enough healthy fats. What do I mean by healthy fats? And you should include this every day. Avocados. If you're not a huge avocado fan, cut one in half, put it in a blender with your smoothie. It helps to thicken the smoothie. Or cut up the avocado and blend it in with whatever you're eating. I like to eat it with my egg tofu scramble in the mornings to get a burst of that extra healthy fat. A couple other little chia seeds and flax seeds are some of my favorite little go-to. They have a big punch for their little tiny seeds. But again, you can throw those in your Greek yogurt. You can throw those in your cottage cheese. You can throw those in your smoothies. And it's a great tiny source of extra healthy fats. And I just buy it in a big carton on Amazon. Okay. Other examples of healthy nuts, if you can find a good, healthy extra virgin olive oil. Oils are controversial, but finding a really good, healthy brand of an extra virgin olive oil, that's a great source of a healthy fat. I tend to drizzle that over my veggies as I toss my veggies into the olive oil, and then I'll throw those in the oven to bake. Or I will steam them. And baking, steaming, grilling, that's another great option too. Or even eating veggies raw is a great option. But also healthy fats, nuts and seeds. Okay, so in my pantry, I have a shelf lined with all of my nuts and seeds. So I have a container of edamame. I have a container of walnuts. I have a container of almonds. Macadamias have the highest healthy fat content. And whatever other nuts that you enjoy, but healthy seeds. I have pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, and I purposefully, and I help my clients to intentionally use these healthy fats every day, because this helps to drive fat loss and belly fat loss during perimenopause and menopause. So if you're not getting enough healthy fats, if some of those foods I listed off have been on your like, oh my gosh, this has too many calories and too many fats, bring more of those into your life now, because your body composition is changing, your hormones are changing, and you need those healthy fats every day. And they'll help to balance all our hormones, not only our estrogen and progesterone levels, but also our insulin and our cortisol and our ghrelin and leptin that causes us to be full or hungry. And healthy fats make us full. I know if I am really hungry and it's not quite dinner time and I just want to like eat everything because I'm starting to get hungry, if I just grab a small handful of nuts, then I feel full and satisfied until dinner time. So the third best food for belly fat loss is fiber-rich foods, okay? Do not rely on fiber supplements to get your fiber. That is not the best source. Food is the best source to get your fiber, okay? We know that balancing our gut health and our microbiome is becoming a great, exciting, big topic of research. And we know that balancing our gut health and our microbiome also aids in weight loss. So what is the best thing for our gut health is fiber, okay? Most Americans are not getting enough fiber. Shoot for at least 25 grams of fiber, preferably 40 to 50 grams of fiber, and track it. Look at your fiber-sourced foods, which what I mean by those are those vegetables, your fruits, and your whole grains. Whole grains are like your oats and your brown rices, okay, and quinoas. So fiber-rich foods will help you feel full, and it promotes healthy digestion. So I've seen some excellent studies that have women just focus on eating a high fiber diet and getting 40 grams of fiber in their day every day, and they're losing weight because it promotes that healthy digestion. Our microbiomes flourish and we're able to lose weight. So make sure you're getting fiber-rich foods. Fourth, best food for belly fat loss is low glycemic carbs. What do I mean by that? If you've not heard of the glycemic index, that just means how these particular carbohydrates affect your glucose. And even if you're not diabetic, that is still important to notice. Like when I think of a Pop-Tart and pizza, these are like the highest glycemic index foods. Those are the foods that will actually spike your glucose levels high. They're going to cause you to gain belly fat and weight. So those foods, and it just makes me disgusted that we have those in our kids' diets, right? Pop-Tarts, absolutely no. Pizza, if you make a healthy pizza crust, and I have some great ideas and great recipes for some healthy pizza crusts that you can fill it up with some healthy vegetables and make your homemade sauce, right? But the standard pizza that you buy, fast food, is just terrible on those glucose spikes. So what I mean by low glycemic carbs, think sweet potatoes, quinoa, brown rice, and beans. Beans are the magical fruit, right? They're not really a fruit, they're a legume, but beans are an excellent source of a low glycemic carb and fiber too. But these low glycemic foods help us to maintain our energy without seeing those big glucose spikes. And the last part is hydration. We all know, drink our water. You know, we've heard that a million times, but are you drinking half your body weight in ounces of water? That is what is recommended, because drinking enough water and hydration actually can help to reduce cravings. Okay, because that could be even one little tip. If you're like, oh, I really want that brownie over there, and you're sitting at your desk at work, then go get a drink of water, walk around, and try to redirect that craving and distract it. Okay, now I have the 5 worst foods for belly fat loss. The number 1 across the board is sugary drinks and snacks. SSBs, or sugar sweetened beverages, in America are the number 1 source that Americans are getting their sugar from. Think of all of your juices, all of your sodas. You want to stay away from these sugary drinks and sugary snacks. Remember, less than 25 grams of added sugar a day is what you're shooting for. And you'll be surprised once you look at those nutrition labels. I always encourage my clients, do not waste your sugars and your carbs in a drink, okay? Those juices, they're all hiding sugars, okay? Juices are not good for us. They're just not. Eat a whole piece of fruit. That's much healthier. So the second worst food for belly fat loss is refined carbs. What do I mean by refined carbs? Your white bread, your white pastries, these have pretty much no nutritional value, and they cause your sugar to go all over the place. And anything cooked and baked in white flour and has white sugar, this is terrible to cause inflammation in our bodies. My clients amaze me all the time. We do a 2-week no flour, no sugar challenge. And most women, freak out about this because flour and sugar seem to be in everything. But it's amazing, within a week of being away from flour and sugar, women tell me all the time they have more energy, less cravings, their joints don't hurt, their bloat is gone. They feel amazing very quickly. So those are the 2, sugar and flour. Get them out, because those are going to cause us to store belly fat as well, okay? Because they're increasing our insulin, increasing our glucose spikes. Our body is storing our belly fat. The third thing is alcohol. Sorry, ladies, that glass of wine or 2 or 3 or the whole bottle or the beers or your seltzers, that alcohol is disrupting our balance of hormones, and it's adding empty calories, okay? So no alcohol is good for us. That has been a more recent guideline. And knowing that, I definitely would encourage you to look at your alcohol intake. It's not good for our brains, our aging brains through menopause. It's definitely not good for our gut. It's disrupting our microbiome, and it's definitely not good for our weight loss. So really look at your alcohol intake here. Sobriety is becoming much more standard and very cool. So relook at your alcohol intake there. The fourth thing is highly processed food. Anything packaged, like remember, I'm sure you've heard this, but always shop in the outer ring of the grocery store. Once you start moving in, it's all the very highly processed foods. And they have tons of additives and preservatives in there that are causing us to gain our weight. And the last thing that might be a little controversial here, but are the artificial sweeteners. And because of that, right, like if you're going to drink a soda, I would rather see you drink a diet soda versus a regular soda. A lot of women are very sensitive to the artificial sweeteners and cause headaches and migraines and gut issues with even a diet soda. But we know that the artificial sweeteners in a lot of these diet products or, sugar-free options, they can disrupt our microbiome, and that can also contribute to belly fat. So last thing here is I want to give you some practical tips and a few meal examples that you can use today. So the first thing is a balanced plate. When you are looking at your plate, how do you know what to fill it up with? Think of a clock here, but if you cut your plate in half of it should be full of vegetables, okay? A quarter of it should be full of protein, and a quarter of it should be full of healthy carbs and healthy fats, okay? So look at your plate. You wanna eat those veggies first as well. Your mother was right. Eat those veggies first because that increase in fiber actually helps to kind of push through the digestion for those protein, fats, and carbs. And we don't see the insulin spikes and glucose spikes like we do if you eat your veggies first. And so another thing I want to talk about is smart snacking. Okay, I love snacking on a Greek yogurt. I'll throw some berries in there or some crunch like edamame. I love some roasted edamame in my Greek yogurt. But look at your snacks. Are they a fruit? If they are, pair your fruit with a protein. A fruit is a great source of fiber, but there's also some extra carbs in there, which is good. We do need carbs. But if you pair that with some protein, like some nut butter or some hummus, right? So that's also a great option for a snack. And meal timing. Consider spacing your meals to manage your blood sugar. And even if you're doing some intermittent fasting, try to still manage your window that you are eating to avoid some excess glucose spikes. And some women struggle with intermittent fasting because it leads them to overeat and binge. So just be careful with that piece, okay? So the key takeaways from this video here is focus on nutrient-dense foods, cut down on the sugar, and remember your hormones are not the enemy, but they do require a different approach to food. If you're ready to ditch this guesswork and get a personalized plan for your weight loss, click the link in your show notes to book a free call with me so we can together work to tackle that belly fat once and for all. Drop a comment if you've tried any of these tips, or if you have questions about menopause and managing weight loss. I'd love to help. Have you hit subscribe or like? Please do that.